Welcome to the John T. Lambert biographical website.
We are students at John T. Lambert Intermediate School, and over the past 3 months, we have been researching our school's namesake, John Lambert.
After doing our research and interviewing many of Mr. Lambert's friends and colleagues, we were able to understand the importance and the impact he made in our community. We realize now why we are honored to learn in this facility.
The following segments were recorded live during our interview with Mr. Lambert considered his colleagues and friends.
We also had the privilege of talking to his son, Doug, to learn about the family life in the Lambert household and how that carried over into the importance Mr. Lambert played in the community.
When asking Doug Lambert about what it was like growing up with a well-known community member as a father, he had this to say.
Growing up was kind of normal. Didn't really look at Dad as a well-known member of the community. I think back then everybody was involved how they could with their time and their money. He was involved in just about everything, so he was always busy. But that was, as a kid, you don't realize why, but as you get older, you realize that it was some people are called to a greater cause, more people and bigger communities, and that was Dad. So growing up was normal, it was great, walked to school, rode our bikes to school. It was a little different because when I went to the J.M. Hill School, Dad was the principal. So, yeah, he knew everything. Didn't get away with anything.
During Mr. Lambert's time here in East Stroudsburg, he was a big advocate for equality. This is what Mrs. Lavador had to say about Mr. Lambert's efforts of bringing equality to our district.
That every child had the same opportunity as the person right next to them, regardless of any of your background, regardless of your parents' financial needs, and everybody had an equal opportunity to be the best they could be and have different opportunities within the school themselves. Sports, and Mr. Lambert John kind of kicked off on that, and we had basketball here, but basketball and that may have been maybe track, but that may have been it pretty much for the girls. And then he expanded, and his daughter was instrumental. Susan was instrumental in helping to expand that, softball, field hockey, those kinds of extra sports to give more opportunities for young women to play athletics. So that, to me, in my mind, and that picture that I brought kind of shows when you think about, he followed us. He was at, and that was an away game. That was down in Nazareth where we played. It was a district finals. And he followed us, but he followed us when we went every home game. And he did the same for all the kids, all the sports, and he was always there to support them.
We asked Ms. Lavender about the impact Mr. Lambert made on our school district.
Sometimes I have a quote, it's actions speak louder than words. His actions were so positive. His actions got things done. His actions created opportunities for people and children and created new schools. I mean, holy cow, look at this building. And look, it's beautiful, and with the support of the school board.
During Mr. Lambert's time in the district, he focused on child literacy, so having a library where children could read from a large selection of books was very important to him, according to Mrs. Bachman.
The most important thing that he was into were libraries. He wanted his libraries to be the best because the most important thing to him was student literacy. And I would say, without a doubt, if you look at any of the libraries in the community, in the district, you're going to find that they're outstanding, and that's because of John Lambert.
Mr. Lambert was a very well-liked superintendent. One of the reasons for this was because of his caring nature of all building-level administrators, teachers, and support staff. No one was more important than anyone else. And when would walk into a school building, he would make the point to talk to everyone.
I think the thing is that even later in his years, he never forgot you, and he kept in contact with people. I got phone calls always on my birthday, sometimes even a birthday card. You know, he never forgot the people who worked for him. He had people that would let him know if they needed, you know, his assistance, if there was a death in the family or whatever. He always remembered all of us and the community. That was, when they laid him to rest, I'm sure the biggest thing was he was a man of East Stroudsburg, a man of dignity.
When asking Doug Lambert about the influence his father had on him, he said this.
You don't realize it when you're growing up because you just think that's the norm, but as you get older, you find out it's not the norm. I like to refer to Dad as the old boy, but he, you know, he was very community driven. He was on every board that there was, church board, Salvation Army board, alumni boards for East Stroudsburg High School and East Stroudsburg College. He influenced me by, if you're 5 minutes early, you're late. Just punctuality, do what you say, treat everybody fairly, give everybody the benefit of the doubt, routine, family.
Doug had an outstanding role model in his father. He had this to say about growing up with a man with such great character.
I never really talked about Pop's goals, probably because he was always working towards them. He didn't ever complain about anything or brag about anything. So his everyday life was him working towards his goals. I know his goals were to keep community together, whether it be through alumni associations, fundraisers, being a part of, and he was always a part of.
Mr. Lambert showed many leadership qualities in everything he did. He wanted to be a leader to make our town a better place.
You know, he was always in service. He was always available to help.
Mr. Lambert was a very humble man and did everything he could to help others. He was never looking for anything in return. The pleasure of offering assistance to someone was all he needed. So when the school district decided to make Mr. Lambert our school's namesake, he did this.
But Dad didn't want the building named after him. He adamantly told the school board that the building wasn't going to be named after him or anybody else. It was just going to be called, I think, East Stroudsburg Intermediate School. And for once, the school board had other ideas. And they told him that against his better wishes, in order to honor his 38 years of teaching in East Stroudsburg and his community, they were going to name the school after him. He was humble. He was proud. We used to drive up around the school, even up till the last years of his life. He was very, very proud of it.
We now recognize how important it is to convey Mr. Lambert's legacy,
So we can let every community member know about his life, his impact, and accomplishments, and why he is our building's namesake.